For this video, we're going to be on Desmos. We're taking a look at, in total, Chapter 3 for Algebra 1, but specifically Chapter 3, Section 4 about Slope-Intercept Form. It does take into account 3.1 on graphing, 3.2 on roots, and 3.3 on slope. But we're going to try to put those together into Slope-Intercept Form, which a lot of us have probably heard as the equation y equals mx plus b. So let's go through this together, and hopefully that'll clarify kind of how we use this and how it creates a line on a coordinate plane, how we actually use it to graph. This first slide says, welcome. For each Match My Line challenge, plot a line that passes through the given points. Let's get started. So let's go to the next one. Okay, challenge number 1. Adjust the equation so the line passes through the points. So at the moment, it does pass through one point, but not the other one. So I mentioned have the equation y equals mx plus b. That's kind of our outline, and we're going to fill in b and m dependent on what our y-intercept and what our slope need to be. The b value was already good, as it actually didn't have one at the start because this one's 0. The reason I know it's 0 is because this first point is at the origin. It's not located above the origin or below the origin on the y-axis. That part's going to stay the same. But from one point to the other, we need to think of our slope, or our rate of change, our rise over run. So to do that, I'm going to count from this point. I'm going to read it left to right like I was reading a sentence from a book. So from this point to my point on the right, I count up 2 units and then over 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I put that in here, my slope is going to be 2 over 4 x, and then I said plus 0. That if you saw before, the plus 0 doesn't actually do anything in this one. So now that I made my slope 2 over 4, notice that it crosses through both points. The line does match through those that pair of points. And if you wanted to, you could, if you notice this is a fraction, reduce that. 2 over 4 could reduce to 1 over 2. It would give you the same thing, because from this point, if I go up 1 and over 2, I'm right back on this line. And if I did that pattern a second time, I'd actually hit that point again. So both are okay. Okay, let's go to the next one. Challenge number 2, plot 6 lines. Each line should pass through the origin and one of the 6 points. One is done for you, and then press check my work. So they tell us that they need to pass through the origin. So none of these equations I'm going to fill in here on the right side of this table are going to have b values, or at least we're not going to show them because they all technically would be 0. So I just need to worry about slope. So each one's going to be y equals something times x. So the something is the slope. So let's just work our way from the top all the way down here. So from the origin, I'm going to count up and down first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, 1, 2, 3 over. So up 5 over 3 times x. Let's check that one first just to make sure we're on the right page. Boom, there we go. Okay, let's reset it. The next one, I would go up 1 and over 3 to hit that point. So 1 over 3 times x. Down here, I would go down 2 over 3, which, because I'm going down 2 before I go to the right, it's going to be a negative 2 over 3. This one would be down 4 over 3, so that's going to be a negative 4 over 3. And then down, that's 4, 5, 6 over 3. All these ones where I go down before I go to the right are going to be negative. Let's hit check my work. 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. So we're on the right track here. Let's keep going. Settle a dispute. Mark thinks the equation y equals 4 plus 6x will match the red solid graph. I think that's Mia thinks that it will match the blue dotted graph. Who's right? So even though they have this kind of flipped, this would be the b value, the number that's by itself. The number next to x would be the slope. So we know it's going to start up at 4. They both have that, though. From there, it would because this is positive, it would go up 6 into the right one. Well, I know right off the bat it can't be the red one, it has to be the blue one. I know that because the blue one's the one that goes up into the right. This would have to be a negative number to go down like this. So Mark is correct because Mia is correct because hers is the blue dotted graph for this one. And we kind of already explained our thinking. We would put something along the lines of Mia uses a positive slope, Mark uses a negative slope. That's how we could tell, something like that. Okay, challenge number 3. We want to adjust so that it passes through these points. So right now that +1 is why we're not at the origin, but we're up 1 block here. We want that to go up to 4 though. So now when I change that to 4, you notice it bumps up. From that point, I want to go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2. So I go up 3 over 2 from that point. Now they cross each other. Okay, next. Here, plot 4 lines. Each line should pass through the point on the y-axis and one of the other 4 points. One is done for you. So they need to pass through this black dot and then each of these other ones. Let's do this one down here first. So from this point, I know I'm going to have a -2 at the end because it's down 2. But in between there, I go down 2, right 1. So I'd have -2 over 1 x. Let's check that one real quick. There we go. Now if we want to go to this one, I'd have y equals, I know at the end I'm going to have a -2, but to go left to right, I'd actually have to start with this blue one. So from the blue one to the black one, because I'm going left to right, I go up 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3. So my slope is going to be 3 over 3x. Let's check that one. Awesome. And then last one, y equals, I'm going to have that -2 at the end. But to go left to right, I'm going to start over here and go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 4. So down 5 over 4x. Let's check that last one. And we hit it. Awesome. Okay, what about this one? Select an equation. What is the equation of the line shown here? Well, we know it crosses the y-axis down at -2, so that instantly rules out this one because it would have to cross up at 6. Now the rest of them have different slopes, so let's see what we should have. From left to right, I go up 1 and right 3. So the only one that matches that rise over run would be this one, up 1 to the right 3. And then the reasons I just explained would go in the box there if you were doing this. Challenge number 5, adjust the equation so the line passes through the points. Hint, adjust only the slope. So it only wants us to change this 3 over 2 then. So from left to right, I count down from this point, down 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to change that to a negative since I'm going down first. -4 over 5. Now it crosses through each. It already had the rest of the equation set up for us. Slide number 9. Plot 4 lines to connect the points in adjacent quadrants. One is done for you. This is getting us into closer to point slope form, so I'm going to skip this one for right now. You could do that. You would just need to either kind of mimic the equation they have here with your own numbers or just project where onto the y-axis it would actually cross. Let's see if there's any more with slope-intercept form. If not, we might wrap up here. Okay, that's like standard form. Okay, so we'll call it a video here. I just wanted to touch on, like I said at the beginning, 3-4 with slope-intercept form. So that was the first part of this Desmos. Okay. Leave a like if it helped at all. If you could. If there was anything that was still confusing to you, leave a comment. Maybe if something got clarified, tell us what that was as well. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I'm stealing that from one of my favorite YouTubers, my dry bread. Other than that, Feel free to subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you guys.